4, so if you have an agenda, um, pledge of allegiance. The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Moving on to public comments on matters on the agenda.
So now,
So now,
Yeah.
oh, but okay, you want me to stand up or do I just talk? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, Sam Shrew, Northwest Montana Real Estate. My concerns are that I haven't seen any permits. And I even called the title company and they don't have any records of permits or anything. And then I called DNRC. DEQ, I mean, DEQ, and they say that they don't have to do a survey of the rain runoff. They said that's up to the city. I don't know how it could be the city when it's always their responsibility to do this. And another thing, is it in the floodplain? Has anybody checked that yet? I mean, Ken could probably answer that. I see Ken's here tonight, but has it been taken out of the floodplain? You know, the reason I'm concerned, as you know, real estate people always get sued. And we know title companies don't always tell the truth. You know, I mean, I'm in a big lawsuit over that right now because of the title company, you know. So my concerns is I don't want to be sued. So if you tell me it's all permitted and legal and it's documented, it takes it off of me, according to my attorney. You know, have you seen any reports or permits?
Not yet. I talked to the state inspector and he's dealing with it. It's going to the DEQ.
It is going to
Yep.
DEQ?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Because DEQ told me that wasn't coming.
and when we did talk to DEQ, they already have multiple Dollar Generals that are trying to fly under the radar who already broke ground without going through DEQ approval. They have 6 right now that have already broke ground without DEQ approval.
okay,
Now my house is going to get flooded by this, by what they have in plan right now, and on the plans it only says a proposed privacy fence. We want that guaranteed that there's going to be a privacy fence. Because right now it says nothing that there's going to happen.
You know, we're not here to stop the sale
No.
at all. That's not what this is about at all. It's about making sure it doesn't flood their house or their neighbor's house. And then it comes back on us because we didn't represent someone right.
okay.
I probably could speak to that, actually.
Let me answer his question
Okay.
real quick. So they've updated the maps on what they're doing.
Okay.
There is, okay, the updated plans for the general dollar store, the attempt to be a good neighbor and address the concerns of the city. To mitigate stormwater concerns for the adjacent lot to the east, they have done the following. They have added yard inlets along the south side of the store that are tied into the buried downspout pipes to convey the any stormwater from the road and back of the lot to the buried stormwater pipe beam system, which is conveyed to the stormwater treatment pond. So
We don't have that.
they do.
They do.
They're putting
So they're gonna put one in the
but
front.
this
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's moving on Highway 2.
that's only if DEQ approves it though, right? Correct, Jesse?
Yeah,
I'm not positive on that one on the DEQ.
I asked
We're still going.
Jesse was nice enough to come here.
and first we got quite a few calls and concerns on the project. So we did look into it as far as the key requirement. Of course, they won't, give review for water and wastewater since up to this services. But they do need to get approval for stormwater. And I confirm that with 2 different of the DEQ subdivision reviewers that we deal with regularly.
Yep.
And of course, because Troy doesn't offer, stormwater system, so they are required to get that approval before they develop on the parcel.
Yeah, and so they know that, and that's all being worked with. I don't know nothing about the DEQ part of it. I haven't heard nothing on that. I just know they stated that they're getting the permitting for that. And their stormwater, I don't know I'm not the best at reading these maps, but this is their stormwater deal and it has all kinds of neat stuff.
I've seen,
And they have all the,
this is the plans, I know they're considered.
Is your the newest ones?
I don't even know the newest ones, but ultimately, you have to make sure that's efficient.
Right. And that's what they're doing is making sure everything's gonna be permitted.
Well, that's what the main concern is, because they told me they weren't going to, they didn't have to approve it, and they didn't have nothing come through there. And that was 2 weeks ago, Chuck.
Okay, in whatever this.
Right, no, I,
Civil
yeah,
design
right,
right here, then everything that they said, they are getting
Okay.
all right.
So
permitting.
what happens
They
if
are
they,
mitigating all the stormwater that's coming off.
So
and they're-
what happens if they start breaking ground like they're doing already in 6 other sites in the state without DEQ approval?
They gotta.
What's the
get
city gonna
state-
do?
They gotta get the state inspector in. To be able to give them the okay to even start. We don't have an inspector for that.
You need a building.
Yeah, the state building inspector, our building inspector isn't state certified, so.
So there's
it's a
nothing
whole-
the city's gonna do to back if they start to break ground before DEQ approval.
They're gonna have to have the DEQ approval. to
But
complete
they're
it.
already
Well, you're
breaking
saying now
ground
that
though,
what if they start doing grading before that, is what he's.
because they've already started 6 other projects in the state without DEQ approval. Now I came from DEQ.
Do you have any knowledge on this? This is all new to us on projects that possibly may start without stormwater permitting. Have you ran into that? Or what recourse?
I mean, as far
I
as.
told DJ at the end of the
I
month.
mean, technically speaking, DEQ is typically doing
DJ should
septic
be there.
for approvals, right, for certain.
He's out.
And you're supposed to have that in place, that approval before you can start construction. Doesn't always happen that way. This is unique since it's a stormwater issue. I know they have this issue in Libby as well, where of course they have, water and sewer, but they don't have stormwater. And so they try to handle it sometimes with their building inspector and the plans, but ultimately it does need that DEQ approval. Now certainly if they just barrel ahead and start, tomorrow they're, putting in forms and start getting ready to pour concrete, certainly, that's just a simple call to DEQ, say, hey, these guys are proceeding without the approvals, and then they'll jump in and handle that.
The state will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, everything I've been reading and can see, the design company that's doing this is designing it right.
Okay, then as far as now on the fire department side, are they putting a hydrant in the parking lot?
See, now that I don't see a fire hydrant in the parking lot, but there's a fire hydrant to the back and there's a fire hydrant right across the street. And if that's not enough, you're gonna have to go around to this old town and take care of that, because my fire hydrant, like my house, is over TJ's house.
Your house is different than a commercial building. That's what our
Okay.
concern is. You got a small main in the back, and then we're gonna have to go across the street. And then if you expect, we're just trying to think of the future, so we don't have to block off highways, block off streets. If we block off, that's where our concern was, because you're gonna have us close the highway for that hydrant. You're gonna have us close the exit for the people getting out by going to the back.
How are we closing the highway?
Because we have to lay hydrant across the highway. It's at Joe Pinnock's. It's not on the corner at the county shop.
Okay, I thought the fire hydrant we had at the county shop.
You'd have to cut through the gate and get in there. It's not always unlocked. I guess DJ's the chief, but it's locked.
Fence up there, too.
That's a new fence they just put up too.
Okay,
So,
and we have a fire hydrant in the back towards Twilight.
which is an old small steamer on a 4-inch main or 6-inch main. 6-inch.
So what you're asking for is to have them at.
We were asking in the front. Yeah, that's what we had talked about at the meeting that you weren't at.
Okay.
No.
I was.
So we were asking for one in the parking lot as you pull in, so we didn't have to go past the building to grab a hydrant, try to get a truck turned around, and coming in that way, trying to fight traffic if there was people coming out, or have to lay a hose across Highway 2 to close it for an incident. That's all we were asking. Since there's a newer main there, have them bring it into the parking lot.
Let me see your plan.
So.
No different than what they did in Libby. Libby had one in their parking lot. Because there is no fire suppression in that building because it's under the square footage for Lincoln County.
Let me see, I need this one. There's one I want to fill out. And yeah, we can do that, and then your noise issues, what you're saying for the fencing, like the town pump did,
No,
Yeah.
privacy.
Just privacy. I mean,
what do you?
that was
Privacy
something
fence,
that
that's up
was
here.
been told to all the community people around. They're gonna have a privacy fence along the back along Twilight, so that people didn't have to look in along the side there. That's not a.
Okay.
I mean, they had it as a proposed in their thing, but we would like a
I-
privacy fence.
Yeah, I didn't see no fence in there, so, I can't read that small writing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking for a privacy fence. I mean,
I do know they added this to it that wasn't in the first one, and that's the lighting.
yeah, it was the first one.
I didn't see it in the first.
They have it
one.
all controlled on, just like Town Pump does.
And then, yeah, fencing, I would say it should be like the town pump down when he did that. They put the fencing up, it was a privacy fence, it was a noise barrier.
Yep.
It was the last thing to go up. I know we had community members come in and say, hey, when's this going up? But it did go up, so.
Like I said, it's
We-
in their original
yeah.
plans, but it says proposed. It's not guaranteed.
Well, that's
It's all around.
like town pump proposed a lot of things. So much that business did too. I mean, anything you wanna have.
I mean, it's already gonna drop all of our property values around there. So all we're asking for is a little bit of, so we don't have to look at it. But I'm not the only ones, but I'm the only one around.
No, it's relevant.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, so she has to look at the building. She's been told that there's supposed to be a privacy fence.
Who told you?
No, this is the first time I've been to one of these meetings. I
Okay,
came
then,
last
yeah,
week
I was told that she was told that. I know it's her.
through the grapevine that there are going to be things that are really not appealing. And, I mean, it's gonna be, good. I didn't think even the layout. Still, this kind. But I'm very concerned.
The whole back of the building's gonna be along Twilight.
Okay, so it's gonna be.
140 feet.
Facing my yard.
Yep.
The back,
140 feet.
Back of your built, the
yeah,
building.
back of the building,
facing
Twilight,
Twilight.
your backyard.
So you know where the power pole is by my house?
Yeah,
20 feet off of that, 140 feet down.
and how are they gonna get into the parking area?
Off Sunset,
Where the right
and
Where it's already tough to get in and out of, they're gonna make it tough.
Mount Sunset.
Yeah. There's
Sunlight, sorry, sunlight. Yeah,
Well, no, but isn't Sunrise?
That's,
Yeah, where there's that asphalt already, they're gonna turn it. All I can do is talk to them on it and see.
so you know. And everybody's aware, we have no zoning lots, so on this property, I remember when I had a house on it, and I remember when it was bought by somebody, and I remember the house was destroyed. And I remember when Tony and Maggie got it, and how long it's been sitting empty, and how many times it's been up for sale. So I mean, really, we have no zoning to stop a business from coming.
We're not asking to stop it.
Okay,
What we're asking
no,
is,
no,
we would like a privacy fence and we don't want our property to get flooded.
okay, and that's what they were mitigating there with the stormwater. For the privacy fence, I can talk to them and ask them, Ward, we can email them on that.
This Drew, what's up, Pearson?
Yeah.
And he's actually.
He's the engineer.
He's he's not working with, he's just an engineer that's putting all this together.
Yep.
He's the one that sounds a lot of stuff.
Chuck, can you check with Levi and see what we can require in order to issue their their business license?
I have something to comment on that also. That tract of land is a residential tract. And they're putting a business on it.
But
It's
it's not.
no, there's no zoning.
No, that is what I'm saying. It is a residential tract. We said it's never been classified as a business commercial, never ever. That's gonna be done with the state, not the city.
What about the other houses in town that have changed over to businesses then?
There's many of them, but this is a violation, and I'm just tossing this out to you. It's not a city problem, it's a state problem.
Okay,
I own those lots that are past Spur that are business lots, classified as business lots, reviewed as business lots. So the single family residents on those lots are prohibited.
By the
Or
state.
the other way.
By the state?
The state owned by Jesse.
It was, cause that was annexed in after it got subdivided.
No, it was annexed in prior to so. But Jesse can explain the difference between those. I'm just tossing this out at you. I have another question I want to ask you about something else, but they're not classified as business lots.
In their subdivision.
in that subdivision that was done about 1920 or 1930,
That one was, I think, 40.
the 1940s.
40s.
Yeah, I know.
But like
Anyway,
with your lots, yeah, when that was approved,
I was,
the governing body had the condition that they were. Isn't it a mix of business and?
it's a mix of business, and I was forced to do that. To set up 4 lots as business lots. And the other 3 lots were residential lots. I was forced from the county and the city at that time to do that. So I'm just tossing that out at you.
Yeah, so even in the absence of zoning, the governing body, say the city council or
Yes.
commissioners, if it's in the county, can say, oh. Dated lot for residential or for business.
That's right.
And the only way to change that would be going back to the governing body and having you.
Go back to the state review. It's actually a DEQ state review. It is.
So we need to,
It's real nasty.
Set when it's subdivided.
Yeah.
we need to look at.
That's the
one
side.
When it's subdivided, it's residential.
And
Right.
that'd be the DEQ.
Yes, it would be.
That'd be part of the DEQ
We
committee.
went through this many times. Anyway, thanks,
But
Jesse.
I doubt with it being that old that we have any documentation, if any conditions of approval or anything like that.
You don't. So.
Then what's this?
All the state would be out there, don't be us. They
You
should
said-
read.
You said the state law. I'll step in.
Yeah.
A DEQ, that's what you find out, that's one DEQ. And find out if they have any dates, and if they don't, I don't know.
They don't.
Okay.
It's
Probably
doesn't
president.
classify it as a business lot. Business lot.
Precedence was probably already set when all the businesses moved down to where the new restaurant is and the rental sheds, and so it's probably.
Everybody moved to the highway, cause that's,
Yeah.
that's the new storefront.
That's all parts of there, same
Subdivisions,
subdivisions,
there's another business lot down there, restaurant that's in them.
and the storage sheds are all business.
There, Sam's shop. There's a business, and then that's well, maybe it was a state law, but.
State law.
Yeah. But anyway, I have a question that goes to the stormwater problems. I'm involved in subdividing a piece of land right across from Gamble's. And all we're doing is boundary line adjustments, and I have came to the city, and everybody goes, well, we don't work. That's why I'm here. What do we do about the water problems? About you, and it's your note, I should have brought your note, Jesse.
This is the first I'm hearing about it, Dave.
Oh, I know.
Then why didn't you come in? Well, we could have got it in there and tried to figure out something beforehand, we need to come in and talk.
Oh, I did.
You never come in and talk.
All our general definition.
It's not about that lot.
Well,
Well,
I
yeah.
a special meeting for that. I don't.
Just come in and talk and ask if that, we can figure something out, try to get information for you.
Well, I'm not here to argue, I'm just saying, I have a similar situation. That's
Okay.
stormwater, what do we do and how do we get that one up?
Yeah,
With the city,
that's your property, if that's the case, or whoever's property there, that's gonna have to deal with that part of it. Stormwater retention or whatever you wanna call it, just like they're doing it.
yeah.
But it's not up to the city to collect property owners' stormwater.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that, but I need a direction on what to do.
Okay, well, let's.
I would assume you have to state just like DEP.
DEQ.
It's a state
You
DEP,
guys, yeah,
it's not us.
yeah, so I need to go to the state to get, there's no, for boundary line adjustments in the city. Well, if that's the case, then I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about the boundary line adjustments that you're talking about, so I have nothing
Yeah.
to even give you on that right now.
Okay,
But if you came earlier, and then we could have looked it up, and I could have gave you at least something on it.
yeah, that's.
So back to
So-
the general dollar.
Really, so you're asking about a boundary line adjustment and what to do with the water after the boundary line adjustment.
Right, we create.
So if you do a boundary line adjustment and Ward, make sure I'm saying this correctly, is once you adjust that boundary, if that property is shedding water onto another property, you can't do it. You can't, that's in our, policies, it's you cannot build or change the design of a property where you shed water onto somebody else's property. You have to contain that within that property.
At least I'm getting some feedback, thanks.
Yeah,
Because he got some other plans.
Well, I think a few years ago because of, I think it came up when Milo was building his places.
Okay,
Making sure that he wasn't pushing water into the alleyways. Dennis.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Board, does that sound? I think it's like one of the only things we have in our codes.
Yeah, you can't put, if your property is making water somehow, you can't put it off on public right away, you can't put it off on your neighbors. No. I wish I'd have known that's what you wanted to hear the other day, so I got a packet of paperwork, it was a bunch of maps and a bunch of stuff and a service request from Mike at the gas station who's doing this. And these guys needed some pictures of some maps and stuff, so I took what I had, took it down to them, and then there was a sticky note that said, we need a letter of approval for stormwater control from the city.
Yeah.
And I told him, I have not seen a plan, I haven't seen no idea, I'm not gonna approve anything until I've seen some, is what I said.
So, yeah, my answer.
I never said, I don't know, I said, show me some.
So I have to, do you know who's an engineer making them? I can't bring it, it's up to you to look at.
Well, we will get you can tell you where to go. It's a mistake.
it's gonna have to take a little time and investigate, and that's why I'm saying you should have come to us beforehand so we could look it up and give us what you honestly need. I mean, that's what that is. And we can get that information for you, but we can't get it for you right now.
Well, here, I don't.
Okay.
Can I just go back?
Chuck,
to
one of the
Dollar
things-
General, please? Yeah, I was gonna say.
I got Maggie's was up first and they.
Yeah, one of the
cut off
things
theirs.
that I think is important to know, I mean, this has been, under contract for several months, and one of the things about the long wait period is about 5 pages worth of environmental testing protocols that they go through. So Dollar General is working with DEQ to go through each and every environmental test. They've done perk tests, ground tests, rock tests, foundation tests, asbestos tests. I mean, they've been there off and on for the last several months, going through all of the things that they need to do to get checked off.
And that's what the
the
email
last,
kind of
right.
was stating.
The
But when
last-
we talked to DEQ, they had no record of this one even being in existence.
Have the state inspector knows about it being part of it.
I'm just, the phone call we have with DEQ, they have no,
They had no idea.
nothing, no
They-
correspondence.
DEQ.
Jackie.
Jackie.
And then I told him about Jackie and Jesse reached out for us. And did they say they knew anything going on?
And she even called me back the next day, Chuck, and told me that they don't have to review it because it was some
Grandfathered in
Grandfathered in.
1987.
saying she didn't even know what it was. She goes, I never heard of such a thing.
Okay, I never talked to Melody with DEQ. That's who would be involved in this. I talked to the state inspector who is involved with her. And that they're in this contract.
And it sounds like they're
just
figuring it
trying
out
to get
since
all
I
the
talked.
permitting done
Yeah.
with this. I mean, it's
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like, things have changed in the last 2 weeks.
okay. This is the third plan, isn't it, Warren? The third plan that came out.
No, I think this is the one that you just sent me this morning.
Yes. Okay, then there was one other one earlier, just kind of giving a laydown of the property.
Well, then, it was like the south of the six or something, and then the second one you sent me was a storm water.
Okay, and this is the amended one.
Should be a revision as well. Right?
Yeah, it's a revision.
It's on the front page there.
Yeah.
But no, they definitely are trying to work to make sure that it's all legal and everything, so.
Well, if you've got more to go, wait.
Go ahead.
Well, why ain't they using the state highway? They say they can't, but they have never given a reason to hide.
Don't know, other than the pond that you're talking about, the stormwater is up front there. The only thing I see on the highway side is another drain.
They can make that work. I don't, why.
The approach that they're trying to do is right here.
Everything else.
They could go on culvert and drive over and still have access right if I were to.
can the city road handle 80,000 pounds every morning going in there? Because that's what a normal truck weighs.
Yeah,
On that chips.
Trucks on my own,
Yeah.
they're.
yeah, I would say, and also.
But they're not doing the sharp turn and then a sharp turn.
So LTV trains come in there and go out there.
They go into the county shop, not on our street.
Oh,
They can't make that turn out of that gate.
okay. I've seen a lot of big vehicles on that, so.
53-foot dry van's different than a log truck. How they handle, how they pivot, how they do that.
So what you're trying to ask is, does the city have anything against these being on our city streets, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's our roads too. I mean,
It's a city, yeah.
we pay the sprinkle tax. We're the ones that have to drive that road. And it's going to be a secondary road, right? So for plowing, you guys going to have to maintain that more now. Because my road's the last one to get done, correct? Isn't it one of the last ones?
Well, we usually do, we try to get the majority of town.
Yeah.
We'll have one guy start across the tracks, one guy start on this one, and then when the guy finishes across the tracks, then they head out that.
Because the plans show the loading dock on the back. So are they going to be backing down Sunrise, Twilight to the back? Or are they going to be going in and backing in? But the loading dock is would be the west side of the building.
Well, according to this, the loading dock is right here in this parking area. There's no parking or loading dock in the very back to even come close to putting a semi in. See this is, and then this is parking. This is the
Yeah, it's right, so it is.
yeah. But there's no road in here. That's
No.
the ditch that's there right here.
This is Twilight.
Yeah, this is the Twilight, but this is the ditch that goes through with the arrows in it, with everything forcing this way except this back piece going that way.
They're going to have
Ditch on Twilight.
According to what I understood, it's what the city already has, wasn't it? And that's what they're calling a ditch. Okay.
Did I see that?
Huh?
Did I see that?
So for me, above and beyond the extension. Twilight and the highway, those are definitely big concerns. We spoke with Henry last week. I was kind of hoping he would be here. He had a lot of concerns with the traffic. There's been accidents there at Highway 2 and Henry. This will just add to it. But above and beyond that, my concern with having Dollar General here is it brings the value of the community down. It is not an asset to a community. I have to read my notes here. They threaten businesses, particularly grocery stores. They create and exacerbate food deserts, which are unhealthy foods. They don't have fresh produce. They don't have fresh meat. They're junk food, processed foods. They create fewer jobs and pay lower wages than independent grocery stores. They have poor labor policies. They extract wealth from the community. Numerous studies have shown that roughly 45 to 60% of a dollar spent in a locally owned business remains and recirculates in the community versus only 14 to 30% spent in chain stores. They reduce tax revenue for local governments. Let's face it, this town's already has some issues with their revenue. They have lax security and thin staffing. They have self-checkout, so they only have usually one or two staff, two at the very most. We've already covered the traffic congestion stuff. They're often cited for serious safety violations, from blocking emergency exits to selling contaminated food. They've had $15 million in OSHA violations since 2017. They provide poor value for customers with scanner errors and their packaging processes. Their items ounce per ounce are actually more expensive than going to Watson's or another store. People think, oh, it's only $4.99 and it's $5.50 at Watson's, but it's a smaller package. They contract with these companies to make smaller packages. Looks like they're getting a great deal, and you're not. It's more money at the end. Um, already did the water, runoff. So here's something, their asphalt paved parking lots shed stormwater roughly 27,000 gallons per inch of rainfall into a typical 1 acre parking lot. It's a lot of water for that area to try and accommodate. Their buildings are purpose built, meaning Dollar General doesn't own that building, a shell corporation owns the building. So if and when they go under, they just vacate, they pull all their stuff out of there and leave the shell of a building there to bring down the value of the town, and leave an eyesore. They reduce property value by 16 to 21%, not just right there in that neighborhood, but community wise, they do that. Those are serious deals with the infrastructure, but I don't feel this is a positive thing to have in our community. I don't.
Okay, so on money wise, what are you talking about? You're talking about Watson's, which isn't a locally owned store.
And it's
Oh,
super
it's our-
expensive.
Yes.
Like, are we really showing saying that they can't compete with Watson's Market? I mean, that's probably.
Checkouts. Watson's has self checkouts.
They also have staff there.
They have not staff because of their self checkouts, just like any other business.
The thing that they do is, this is a huge lawsuit. State, I mean, pretty much every state in the country is suing Dollar General because you see an item on the shelf and it's down there for $4.99. You go to the self checkout, you get home and you look at your receipt and you go, they charged me $5.49. They overcharge. That's part of the weights and measures. That they have so many violations against weights and measures. Inspectors have filed countless times because what they have on their shelf and what they put in their computer when they check out, you have no one to dispute it with. All the other staff is just, they fill the shelves. They're just stoppers. And so that's what some of their largest lawsuits are, the fraudulent practices they have with when they sell items. They're not.
I've seen that.
That's on there.
I've seen what you're talking about at every store, and if you don't pay attention to what you're buying and pay attention to your receipts, you're gonna get bent over multiple times.
Right. They have that is a trend that they do. That's why they target low income communities. You're not gonna see a bunch of dollar stores in Whitefish. They target low income areas. But statistically, they have a higher percentage of those errors than other stores do. If you scan something at Watson's and you notice it, there's somebody standing there that you can say, this charged me more than what was on the shelf, the sticker on the shelf. Oh, okay, then they can adjust it.
So you're saying this store is gonna have nobody in there to tell?
That is their trend, is that they don't have anybody working registers. It's all self-checkout.
So I
I've
saw.
actually gone into the Libby and Bonner's Berry stores and talked to their general manager on the floor. So I do know that they are, I don't know that they're there 24 hours a day. That's not a guarantee, but they were there when I went in both times in both stores. So, and the other thing about property values I find interesting, if you look at Libby and Bonner's, their property values are not going anywhere since Dollar General put it there open for business.
I haven't
You
checked
know.
that out.
They're
Well, I
not
mean,
built
I
next to
just
houses
think-
though. They are. This one's being right in the middle of a housing.
Well, I think there's a
Bonner's
lot of
Ferry
really
is far
general
away from
overarching
housing,
statements
and
saying
Libby is far
this
away
is
from
going
any
to
close
ruin the
housing.
economy of our whole town. This thing is going to destroy. I mean, these are big overarching statements that
It's not.
we can't.
Statistically, that is a statistical fact. It's not an argument. It's not an opinion. That is a statistical study that was done.
I've done.
It's not against anybody's feelings. That's statistic.
I'm
They
just
don't lie
saying
and they
that
don't care
if we-
about feelings. That's fact.
And I think it's interesting if we look at local places that have Dollar General and we look at the property values of Thompson Falls, of Libby, of Bonner's Ferry, and we say, have the property values of that community gone down since those places went in? And I would argue, I think we'd have to do a little appraisal, but I would argue that they have not gone down because Dollar General opened up for business. And I think if you go into Dollar General, there's a whole front row of fresh vegetables. I was just in there the other day. And when you walk in and you turn right, there's a whole place of some fresh vegetables. So I don't know that they all do that, but now I know that you can't say all don't do that. You know what I mean? So I think it's just, and tax revenue, I'm curious if there is a business and they are generating jobs and taking up space and paying taxes, doesn't that generate revenue that isn't there right now on an empty lot? That seems.
There's revenue there, there's revenue in our sewer, there's revenue in our water, there's a revenue in our power.
Right.
And for
But if
people
they-
being there, I stopped at 3 different ones, counting Libby, and all of them are manned with people. They
Yeah.
have self-checkouts, but I see that at town hall, I see that at every grocery store I go to.
But with property values dropped and
I
property
don't know
taxes
about property
dropped,
values. 'cause I
and then
didn't
you
check
guys
on
don't
that,
have the
so-
property value coming in, the tax value of it, but.
So I want to add something. Probably not gonna make anyone happy here, obviously, but I understand, I hear everything you guys are saying. But as a city council, we cannot stop Dollar General from doing business in Troy. We cannot say, no, we are not approving your business license. You cannot come into Troy. We legally cannot do that. Well, I mean, so your concerns and everything on the internet and is legit, and we hear you, but as a city council, if we went and said, you know what, Dollar General, believe in your business practices as a city council, we're denying your business license, you cannot operate in the city of Troy. Dollar General's lawyer is gonna walk through us so fast, it's not even gonna be funny.
So what's to stop a strip club coming into town?
We can't,
We can't.
we cannot, because
Other than the Montana law.
right, our city code on business licenses follows the state and federal. If it is not against the federal or state, we cannot say, no, you can't come into town. A casino can come into town as long as it meets the requirements of the state. That's
And they're here.
500 feet away from the school and a religious
The church.
church. And
Any school.
so we have to follow that. It's like we can't say no, we don't consider casinos. But if they're following those state guidelines, we have to approve their license.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify, from my understanding, the city council can make conditions of approval on a business license to mitigate any identified adverse impact.
And that's what we did with the town hall.
Yeah, it's what I wanted to relay, again, this is another thing we got some calls on, is the road coming in there, it's only 20 feet curb to curb. Right?
Right away 60 feet, right?
Well, it's the right way with the highway, right?
No, our right away on that.
City
from-
road is 16. So that right away, that Sunrise is only 40. Yeah, so that's only 40, so the easement of the actual grade curb to curb is 20 feet. So now the other morning, I pulled in there and it's pretty tight turn off highway too. If there was another truck sitting there, I could see, if they're a couple feet off the curb, and I might get stuck and have to back out. Definitely doesn't seem safe, especially considering, say the county road standard, 24-foot driving surface with, shoulders and ditching or whatnot. So they got the room to do it.
So what I was talking about earlier today too, not with you or anybody there, but I think Ward, about how, businesses coming off the highway have turn lanes. So if you look at this one with a 60-foot right way, where they're turning off there, if we put a stipulation in there that they need to widen the road out there at the end there. I don't know anything about the state highway, right? That's gotta go somewhere else. That's nothing to do with us. But from our right of way, the 60 feet, if that was brought in another 20 feet there with them putting an approach to go turn in there, that would eliminate that problem. State highway, I have no idea what can be done there, because that's not our.
Yeah, and then,
And I-
permit.
And I do have a call on
On
that.
our right, we, well, I need to walk west, it's all right, that last, 20 feet or whatever it is from the edge of our property up to the white line on the highway where the actual green is. It is, that's highway department, you can't touch it. Right. You gotta argue that out with the state.
What is the state, from center line, do you know, through there?
Let's see,
It's 60 feet on the west side.
Yeah, but it varies through this
Yeah.
town, it's a lot,
Cause in my place, it's a lot.
so I mean,
Bill, your guys,
it's 90
it's
feet.
less.
it's 90 feet, see there,
It's
Okay.
50 feet from center line.
so you'd have
So,
50 feet from center line?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's, yeah, according to this, where that line comes across and ours comes across, there is definitely a way to do that. So, and then like the turn on, that's gonna have to be.
But what you're saying is they have to get state approval to make it wider to turn on to sunset, sunrise.
yeah,
So you have, so Dollar General would have to get a permit from the state to make that a bigger, which I don't see the state saying no. Why would they?
I don't know, I gotta.
You know, they're not paying for it, so why would they? You know, it'd be on Dollar General to pay for it. You know,
Print those out in color, a lot easier to read.
so I can't see why,
They are.
Even on a computer, it's all.
you know, I can't see where that would be a problem to have the right away white with it. If the city's gonna make them do it on the other approach, so why wouldn't the state go along?
Right. Well, that's just something that can be discussed.
Yeah.
And have it happen.
Yeah.
There's.
I mean, like Ward was saying, it's not a problem to make the road wider. You know, but it'd be on Dollar General anyhow. They're gonna have to pave their parking lot. It'd just be part of their paving.
And curbing, they're
And
curbing,
curbing.
so.
So,
It's no different than the other business that came into town and had to do all that.
I mean,
So.
it can be worked. It's just,
That's
this everybody has to agree on it and get it done. is all.
So as the house next door, all I'm asking for is they hold all their water, not into my property. Cause
Okay,
your
I
guys'
think
dry
that's
well
what
can't even handle the
this-
rainwater it is now.
Okay.
And the privacy fence, we're not asking for a lot.
That's, I mean, that's legitimate.
And fire department, your fire department is asking for a hydrant in the parking lot.
Yep, that's legitimate.
And I text DJ and tell him everything we just talked about, and he's might come down, he's not feeling the great, he's been out of work for.
Yeah, see, so I thought the other fire hydrant across the street was the fire hydrant we could use.
Well,
The one in
here we looking at, if we do, see, and like you had said that your hydrant's so far away. A structure fire, a residential structure fire is totally different than a commercial fire. We use a lot less water on a house fire than we do on a commercial fire. We could use up to 30,000, 40,000 gallons of water in a commercial or more. I mean, look at that place in Kalispell a couple months ago, 1.5 million gallons of water in a commercial building. A house fire, we might only use 3,000 or 4,000 gallons. That's the difference. And there's nothing wrong with asking for a hydrant in there. If we have to call Libby out to bring their ladder truck in to get aerial support, we need a good hydrant right there. That's all we're
It's
asking.
a question that can be asked and see what we should do.
They got a good main right across the street that they put in years ago. That's an 8-inch main, correct? The one that the county shop is off of that goes up to Kevin's house. That's 8-inch, so it'd be a better pressure, newer hydrant for us to work off of there. That's all we're asking.
Everything you're asking them right down and the approach was already discussed about widening it out to have a turn in there. And then that would leave that street with 2 lanes, so.
I mean, it's gonna
Coming down.
double
behind
or
it, I
triple
don't-
our traffic on our twilight lane. That's a single lane.
Yeah, and I don't see where they're wanting to put big trucks down there, cause
We just saw the loading dock in the back. So
Yeah.
if you look at some of them, they come from the back, they come from the front. And if they're busy with the parking lot, where's the truck gonna go? To the easiest access.
Right, but if this is what I'm reading right, is that's the ditch line that's already supposedly established there. It's already marked.
I'll tell you right now,
It's gonna
Tony
stay
drives his
ditch line.
own bed through that ditch right now just fine. So there's no ditch there.
Yeah, but according to this, that's what they're saying is there is the ditch, water flows for most of it towards the county shop and around, they're collecting that. There's a little part that goes off yours, which is already there.
According to the plan, the first plans, it was more than half, 2/3 of the building's coming down to my house.
Yeah, no, they changed that, and I think when they changed that would have been after the last meeting. That I went here for.
Yeah.
I have the new stuff on this morning, but that revised one that they sent us this morning, I can send it to you too.
No, I'm good.
But I think they changed that.
Yeah, they changed all stormwater to catch that away from your crop. versus the resident.
But we just wanna make it known, that's what, I don't wanna get flooded, so from here on out, if we get flooded, then.
You're
on
coming
you
out
guys.
rough.
The last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So that, I mean, all these are legitimate. We'll talk to them about it and see what we can do about it.
I mean, how,
Then asking them if they can do it, we should require it and make sure that we have legal backing to require it. Those.
Well, we
those
better talk to
three-
Levi about requiring it.
Yeah, that's what we need to
I got it down as Levi about what we can require.
Asking
So-
a question, you're gonna 50% of the time, you're gonna get a no answer. If you say, this is a condition of approval, how are you gonna argue that?
We'll see what we can put down as a condition of approval.
Right,
I mean, how many
check on
businesses
that,
we
but
got here
we
that didn't
can
have something like
need
that,
to.
so now we're looking at.
But didn't
Leave
Word
it.
just
Let's
say
go.
that you can't have a property build something and have that runoff go into the neighboring property? So.
Right.
It's a,
They're gonna have to, they're dealing with their water. It's being dealt with, all of that, so. According to this, they got their wastewater ditch, they got everything. See, this is the, look at the stormwater.
Maybe their paving plan, I think it's the last,
The what?
the paving plan, that's the drawing.
I think they've got a pond, like.
Yeah, they do,
Pond
that's the
that'll
pond
end
that I was
slowly
showing
sink.
these guys. Right here, and everything gets transferred to there.
My only question is legitimately, in the wintertime, when there's water runoff and the pipes are frozen, how is that water going to shed?
Yeah, that's-
Cause it's corrugated.
yeah, that's where our concern was, where that freezes, that water.
So this is engineered, so I'm sure they got a frost stipulation, in. They're not gonna have it right at the surface. So let's see.
It's right at the surface, you look at the one in Libby, the one in Libby comes off the building, the corrugated pipe is right off the building and then into the dirt, it's only buried.
That's their drainage. It's really good.
Well, I don't have an exact,
Are they gonna
I
have
don't-
a curb around the parking lot? Just park. Curb would divert the water.
The original plan showed a curb on the west side,
Yeah.
nothing on the east side by my house. They had it so that the water would come off a third of that building, then run down curb, and then they have this janky gutter system that goes in the piping and then.
So
Into the
according to
pond.
this, they're gonna have like 12 inches of concrete on top of it.
So above the
Crushed. I'm definitely not an engineer, so I don't
Find
know
out.
this. I would ask that. Because I don't underground water.
If you're in Libby tomorrow, drive to the back of the Dollar General in Libby, and it's just like it's not. It just comes sweeping off the building and just barely buried enough in the back.
Okay, it's the depth of the stormwater piping. I will,
If it freezes, what's their plan with the runoff?
yeah, well, the depth of it's gonna determine that.
Well, the reality is too, if we have
Yeah.
a freeze.
Yeah.
And it rains, it ain't the only place in town that's flooded. We gotta go up and keep partners from flooding.
My house normally doesn't flood. That's what I'm getting.
I know, but it's.
We're having a big commercial building next door.
Right, but.
You have to understand our complaint.
Situation we're gonna run into, we gotta wait for the state to come back with the approved SWIP plan. We're what if in a scenario we don't have answers to. I mean, that's the reality of it, because we don't. It hasn't been through DEQ approval or review yet. They may come back and say, yeah, you need to do this, this, and this, which they probably will have comments. If the engineers with the salt and stone in Montana, they probably won't be much comments.
So then while we're at it then, and I've had this conversation with Ward, and he knows it also that the dry well that's in front of our house that is in the city's responsibility can barely handle the stormwater now. So you guys know now that if it runs off in there, we're gonna have a bigger problem.
So do what we did up here and add another dry well. I mean, that's what
There we go. I'm just letting you know, I passed on the Ward and he agreed.
Yeah, we did it on Spokane we did it on Second Street in Spokane for the front there, where the town pumps water came down. We had one at a time there for that. We also added one down there at, First in Spokane in front of Dallas's house. Is where another one got put. That
So-
doesn't get used very often.
John, it might be a good note for you to, when you talk to Melody at DEQ, is just let her know that's a dry well, not an actual storm drain that goes into a sewer system.
The one in front of my house.
On your house.
It's just a dry well.
Okay.
Cause that may change their engineer, they probably won't change.
Dry well.
You could drop it all down in the sewer, one, have all that
No.
down in the sewer. Yeah, we don't, actually. That would take care of everything. I wouldn't like.
If you screw everything down.
They're kind of like,
Yeah. So this is the same stuff that went down when the town pump come in. There's less people here at this one, I'll tell you that, because we're not having it at the senior citizens, so. But the concerns were there, the concerns were answered, the concerns were taken
And
care of.
they have to do a lot of dry wells there.
Up here, they had to take care of all their.
And town
water,
pump, I mean,
stormwater,
yeah, they
and
took care of
a
all.
bunch of them, and they've taken care of all that.
And there's no flooding out front when it rains.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the only time we had an issue, I mean, where we're just talking about this again today, is right after Second Street was paved and everything was going on. Put in, the other dry wells were put in. We had a torrential downpour, which we don't see but every, 5+ years for that type of storm. Since that storm that over flooded everything, I mean, it flooded everything, it flooded the whole town, the highway, everything. I've stopped down there at the town pump to see the water that flows off of it multiple times during these rainstorms. And so far, we have not had any issues with it. We haven't had employees in here yelling because their basement being flooded. I mean, that was a normal thing every year. I've only had that happen one time, and that was that torrential downpour right after. So hopefully all that was taken care of and not gonna be a problem again. Not saying we're not gonna have a torrential downpour after 5 or 10 years, it's gonna happen. But for what your concerns are, yes, we can definitely look at it and take care of it, and definitely, like TJ says, we can't deny business to come in.
And then something that says they have to maintain that stretch that isn't gonna be built on. There's that downhill slope where the sewer line is. That, right now, the weeds are 2 to 3 feet high, which is a fire hazard to my house. So it needs to be mowed, and it should be their responsibility to take care of that. Cause it's gonna be off of my fence is 30 feet to the side of the building. So there's gonna be a 30-foot stretch all the way down that's gonna be all grass. But like right now, the weeds are taller than my 3 foot.
And
And that's a fire hazard, so they need to be able to take care of that.
okay, and this is part of that runoff, and this is in the parentheses that they said, which should be very minimal since it's just grass area.
Well,
Is that
if you look
piece
at
you're
this,
talking about?
if you look at it right now, from my fence to the Anderson's property right now, those weeds are over the top of my fence,
Okay,
which is in the city says you have to mow your lawns or your yard, right?
and that's not.
And it's
gonna
not getting
happen.
done, but it's not a piece of property. It's a
So
fire hazard to
it'll-
me,
It'll have to be taken care of,
right?
yeah.
But what about
Businesses that
what
are
about the current right now?
It's not a yard right now.
So a vacant lot can be tall grass with a fire hazard in the city limit?
No, everyone has to follow the same.
So then that lot should be mowed right now.
And we're gonna have to get the officers on every lot around that has grass in it.
It's an ordinance.
Yeah.
Why do we have it? No. Something about it.
So that'll be another can of worms we're gonna open up, so, okay.
Yeah, I stopped that a few years ago to mow my land over there by the city. And, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
To be honest with
Are you keeping it mowed down?
Yes, I am.
Are you? Okay. I haven't told you in a while, so.
It's not just like you have to mow your lawn, but it's about 58 fire hazard. Like, don't let it go so far because it's a fire hazard.
Stuff that can be discussed and dealt with.
Or they're probably paving that side too, aren't they?
No, it's that.
They can't.
It's that downhill side.
It stays in there,
That's where
that's
the
gonna stay as grass.
because that is where the city's sewer line runs down that piece right
So
there.
that's city's east end down through. there.
Yeah.
It's also.
Yeah.
Okay, so. You know, this is still on the agenda, right? An item that we got.
What?
the general dollar.
Good.
So far.
Yeah.
Oh, but you said you said public comment on the stuff on the.
That's my story. Just like, okay, now we need to get on to our other business for a little bit, and then we'll stop here at number 5 again. That'll be the last item on our agenda for that. Yes, you may.
Sorry.
It's okay. We can get these parts done and get a few people out of here.
You guarantee if it was one of your guys' home next to it, you'd be concerned too. Yeah, I'd much rather listen to that every night right by my bedroom window than a bad building on next to me. I'll be completely honest.
Well, at least you guys all got good concerns. It is like good concerns.
I mean, nobody,
But it all can be.
nobody
taken
broke
care of.
out the torches and tried to burn City Hall down, so you're good.
Just about them,
It's just
about them doing the right thing.
It's just about them doing the right thing.
They're doing the right thing. That's all. You know?
So, yeah, everything I can see with engineering, that's what they're trying to make.
And I've got to call him to Levi Thompson, because he usually does all their dirt work for them. And I just want to see if he has plans yet. If he has a start date, but he didn't call me back yet.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a start date.
If they're in, I'll let you know.
We'll go for it. Okay, let's move on to number 1, consent agenda. Everybody's read the. Yeah, you guys got it all read? Okay. I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept the consent agenda, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Jamie makes a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sean seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. To new business license. This is Premier Paving. They're from Celtic Way, Premier Paving. At AOL.com. I mean, everybody's probably seen that's been in town. Premier Paving that's come in and done a bunch of parking or driveways and little projects. So they came in and asked for a business license. They paid for a business license and they're asphalt paving. That's what they're doing. They plan on coming back a couple more times. I guess they got some more projects over here. So that's why they're asking for a business license. From what I see, they seem to be doing an okay job. I won't say it's the cleanest job because a couple of them are a little bit messy.
They shouldn't be dumping their loads on your guys' city streets.
No, they shouldn't. They just So, but I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept Premier Paving as a new business and try. Sean makes a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second. Sean.
You want to get punched, Chuck?
I got a second from Scott Hoffman. All in favor? Unanimous. And you just got
No, it's on video.
So let's move on. Let's make sure I'm on the right one there first. I just wanted to make sure. So, okay, we're looking at a new business, LAS Masonry from Troy. Pat Mackey, and you are here. Yeah. Okay, you want to tell everybody what your business is?
Lot, stone,
Masonry.
fireplaces, retaining walls. Those stuff. No, I don't.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So yeah, he's kind of working with Hank Keenan on the construction or the masonry construction. Anybody else have any questions for him there? No. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to accept LAS Masonry in the business and try.
I'll make a motion to accept.
TJ makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Shauna seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. You don't have to hang around. Okay, moving on to Liberty Micro Farms, DBA, Liberty Log Homes, Liberty Lumber Mill, Troy. So Justin Michael Hammonds. Okay, you wanna give us a lowdown of it?
Well, I plan on setting up a sawmill, cutting dimensional lumber. I'll also have experience building log homes, timber frame, and stick construction as well. So I'm gonna build just about anything, and I'll be producing my own lumber and material in order to do so. Down the road, I'll need to apply for another business license. I'm going to be interested in putting up a nursery for vegetable and fruit and flower starts. And who do I talk to? This is a question for the council. Who do I talk to about the regulations for setting up a small custom cutting butchery operation?
Max Schrader.
That's for sale.
Yeah.
It's a lot of my price range. I'll be starting on my own, but I was looking up the city regulations, and there were some regulations for no slaughtering animals within city limits and that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to run afoul of any of those regulations that are already on the books. How does that work if I'm planning on starting a butchery operation within city limits?
You won't be able to do that butchery in the city limits.
Sounds like you cutting church sign.
Well, you couldn't kill them in the city. I guess.
It's not even the first, sounds like you need a ban.
So I could not
Like-
kill them in the city limits.
No, you gotta go out of town, kill them, then you can bring them back in town and process them.
Taking me on the dollar store.
Still city. Go up one street, go.
On that one, I'll do a little checking on that. There's now ordinances in town. We can't have cows, can't have horses, you can't have certain ducks. You can only have 5 chickens or 5 ducks combined. No roosters. There's no sheep. There's
No roosters.
quail.
My neighbor has roosters.
In the city limits.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
I heard of that one.
Come over to my house every morning.
I hear the hill behind me that crow, but that's out of season.
My neighbor.
Okay. And yeah.
So I'll be in touch about those regulations, just to figure out how to go about doing it properly.
And the state too, of course, to help. So,
they help,
county,
yeah.
state.
For sure. But the business license that I have right now is setting up the sawmill, doing dimensional lumber, beams, log cabins if people are interested, any of that kind of construction units.
Where are you gonna set up at?
Well, I'm looking at a chunk of land behind the CHC building.
It's his.
There's a big chunk behind the CHC for sale.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept Liberty Micro Farm DBA, Liberty Log Homes, Liberty Lumber Mill.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Jamie makes a motion. Do I have a second? I'm second. Scott seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. And you don't have to stick around for the rest of this either.
Well, sounds interesting.
Honest answer.
So now we're done with these two, so now we're back to Dollar General discussion.
Start over.
No.
So you are gonna make the construction companies get business licenses in the city, correct?
Yeah.
Since they are not from around here, that usually build them, so.
Yep. Soon as we knew the Premier Paving was in town and they were doing stuff, and I had one of the officers run down and talk to them, and they came in immediately and paid for a new business license, and this is as soon as they could get the council to approve it. I'd say with anybody else that's doing business in Troy, they should be paying for a business license. Business licenses are so cheap that, I mean, even if you're doing jobs, it well pays for it, because I pay for my business license in Libya, and it's way more. Troy's cheap.
Troy's very cheap.
Too cheap.
Yeah.
Well, we
talked
raised
about
it,
this,
so we just raised
I
it.
know, it should be
It's been a
more.
long time.
Are you saying we need to raise it
You
again?
could double that. I think you could double that. Honestly.
I mean.
It's $100 a year for business. Huh?
Exactly.
Why are we different?
Yeah.
First of all,
Listen.
I mean, it's well spent.
That could be a discussion at a later date for Like I said, we just updates.
Just did it on the last year, so.
Wait another.
Can I just ask a general question? What's the
Wait.
population of Florida?
That's at the end.
Okay.
There is,
Well, it doesn't.
public comment
make the
that was not on
numbers,
the agenda. So,
Well, how does that-
is there any more discussion on Dollar General that anybody wants to put out?
Okay.
Nobody. Okay, so we're moving on from Dollar General. It's old business, none. Department reports, so we're gonna go. Good. Okay, my police department's not here today. So, okay, on August City Council report for the police department, 9-4 did some training with the sheriff's department. On IBRs. Anybody know what an IBR is? I don't, so. Okay, so sexual assault investigation training in Helena, September 12th through the 13th. Tree training for the child interview in August, includes lodging. Vehicles, all the SUVs are in working order. We're just fixing tire today.
Yeah, changeable tire.
I know there was a complaint about the cornering of it. So, I guess on the partnerships, we are still waiting to see if we get the COPS grant, and that's for the SRO officer to see if we can pay for our
This SRO, just the additional. officer.
additional officer and so. If we do get that though, that would help out with the SRO officer, right?
We know it has been something.
Yeah, and school and kid has a line for it.
Investing in this year.
Okay, I was hoping, that would shop right out there and keep it going because I know everybody's loves the officer being it. Okay, so. Okay, working with the sheriff's department on IVR and Flex. That must have something to do with their computer system.
Their reporting system probably.
The BBB grant submitted for the vests, STEP grant has been approved and underway. The COPS grant was submitted last week, still waiting to hear from them. Upcoming events is a musical festival and Frisbee golf tournaments. Music festival and Frisbee golf tournaments are over. No upcoming events that I'm aware of. Okay, that's Travis's. And then they had 56 call outs and 3 agency assists.
Was there any issues with the music festival?
There was nothing that I heard of. I was down in Townsend. Townsend. At the
One ambulance call that
I had
canceled
really-
these for heat exposure. That was it.
Or was there any big
There was like, that was the same time as the skating, wasn't it?
Yep.
Because there was, the only issue we had, they were good about bagging up all their own garbage and stuff, but they took it to the dumpster at the boat launch and it was like, heaped up. So maybe
At
next
least
year,
they made that.
Yeah.
made it to the dumpster, but they like piled it up, buried it, so if maybe next year they order another dumpster or something.
That's probably something we need to make sure we
Yeah.
put on our list because if the chamber gets their music stuff going.
Yeah, other than that, there was, the only other thing we found, there was, I don't know if it was a band or some kind of a weird little cartoon sticker that somebody went around sticking on everything in the park. But I don't know if it was the music people or the skate park people. Other than that, nothing.
I'd like to say something about that in the park host. When we would go out to do anything, the guys would come up and ask if we needed help. And they were all courteous. We didn't have any trouble. The music sucked.
That's an honest answer.
But other than that.
Tom Crock's not your John.
Head banging granny.
But they were, in our view, and we only have the park area, but it was a good group of people. Good to hear. I heard that from the VFW too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he actually state.
that it was a good group of people that didn't cause trouble, so.
And they had two bands at the bar, cause they had the, the bingo hall or whatever they call it in there. But yeah, the bar and the bingo hall.
They take that Yelly band down there?
I wasn't here to listen to him, I just know there's people out there and he's, so from what I understand, there is no arrest down at the park. None of that going on, and the only arrest I ever heard of was down that night, so.
Yeah, he went to sleep in his car one night.
Well, he should have been driving.
Yeah.
Very much so. So, okay. Moving on to power department, let's.
New line's done. So, everything coming in, we just gotta get with the state probably later on this week to see how they would like us to take care of the wire across the highway now. So it's de-energized, like I said, we're being cut off, living line, nothing you can just flip this year. So, rocking and rolling, a couple months earlier than anticipated, so, and, yeah. I mean, that's kind of where we're at now, we're going back to tree trimming and focusing on kind of knocking all the jobs that we can get done while we wait on material out, so. Like everything, just at the mercy of my suppliers, so. When they send transformers material, and get stuff done, but until then, we're gonna do tree trimming and maintenance on the system until that happens, so.
Do you have any other big projects for this year?
Not for this year. So, I mean, I called, I've been trying to get a hold of, the state about the grant, but
Still nothing from 2 months ago?
no, still nothing. I know they moved the date back when they accepted everything, so I'm just trying to get a call when they're going to set the acceptance stuff out.
The state's been lagging. I've had a grant out for 4 months and I emailed them the other day and they're still way behind. So
Yeah.
it's the whole state right now.
Yeah, I keep calling, keep leaving the voicemail, one time they'll call back. So I just want an updated timeline. So in the Jaeger system, it's still, or Jaeger, whatever, it still says submitted, so it hasn't been declined, so we got somehow.
You're talking about Jagger?
Jagger, whatever it is. I mean,
Jaeger.
yeah, you know what? Type in Jaeger. But no, other than that, I mean, we're just gearing for fall. Summer's coming to an end. So, see what it brings. And keep working and plugging along as long as the weather's good. So, I do know that Northern Lights have been dredging up at the dam, pulled 2,800 cubic feet of silt and stuff out of there. And it looks like they're gonna be pulling a little bit more out before they finish. So, yeah, they're trying to get that knocked out real quick. So.
How long is that, are they projected to go?
To finish dredging, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on cleanup. I mean, they'll be a little bit longer as they clean the road up, stuff, trying to get everything well for us into the winter. But dredging wise, I mean, 2 weeks max. So they're pulling 150 trucks a day out of there. So when they're running, I mean, they're 6 minutes in between loads, so they're just running.
Really dumping, up there by our between those, like, between us and all that whole.
But other than that, everything's good. We put up some marker balls around town. You might see one by the post office.
Messing with the.
No,
like.
Yeah, it's for Gene, right? Just please tell me it's for Gene.
And we put some up at the pit also. I mean, anywhere that we see a load line, we want to mark. I mean, I still don't know how Maya comes through on the 4th without taking that long. Stop this. So
Measure.
yeah, that's pretty low. So, and that's all cable TV. The reason why it's so low. So we would put some mark balls around. John placed second in his division at the rodeo, and Sterling placed 8. They were 2 separate divisions. John somehow signed up for one that only had like 6 people in it. So,
Yeah, that's how you got.
that's how we got
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. So he gets to sit in the front seat after Dennis leaves. Down to 70 days before Dennis retires. So yeah.
Are you counting?
Everybody comes and tells me.
But he knows until we get a dump trailer, he can't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys dump trailer, huh?
Yeah. City does.
That's, I mean, yeah.
Well, no, status quo.
And everybody knows about the line that we put in and split in the town. It's all a new upgrade.
Yeah, okay. It's got 4 times the capacity of the old line. So, not saying there's gonna be a ton of growth, but if there is, we can handle it on our backbone. So.
And it looks better down there. You see
Oh,
the
it
tunnel.
does.
See the train coming out of the tunnel.
People all know there's a tunnel now.
What? Yeah, people didn't even realize it was there in the tunnel.
I thought it's on the box.
A lot of people thought for sure. I remember the tunnel in, I think it was 77 or 76, somewhere when I was over it. Back when they did the road construction, built that road up, you can see it through there when they cleared all the way down through there, you can see it. And from teenage days.
Yeah, being inside there.
Yeah. Yeah, we raced through there a couple.
Find out how fast you can run when you see the light. So,
Yeah, oh, you've, the track, the tracks vibrate before you see a light.
Is there room to stand against the wall?
Lay.
Lay?
It's a
Yeah.
couple little notches you can lay.
That's it, huh?
I've never had to, but.
Strong with it.
I wasn't there.
Nope. Some kind of people were driving to the original job.
They lived on the other side, so yeah, I'm pretty sure Sherry's husband been through there.
Our flashlights, you know, good.
Everything good with you?
Yeah, it's status quo. I mean,
Okay.
we're just, gonna start maintenance back up again and just get everything rolling, so.
Okay. So we'll move on to public works council report.
You guys, Ian, State, you guys have a copy?
Close one.
So we did this, well, that first one there on the water, that's the working with, Brad and Jesse here too, we emailed back and forth a little bit about that, that was, the only part I had to do with that was kind of just figuring out where the silt was gonna go, it ended up there, and it's good, cause it's good topsoil kind of stuff, and DEQ's told us before, we need topsoil in the event of a reclamation pit. It's good to have lots on hand, so that's kind of what we were thinking there. And that's perfect for that. There was a water main that was leaking real bad, like right at the entrance to the gate down there, we got that dug up and fixed. The hydrant all the way at the end of the yak, we dug it up and we found the valve and we shut it off for now. But that section of main from First Street all the way to the end of the gravel there, that needs to be replaced anyway. It's old. It's like a old 6-inch dip and wrap. So when we do that, we can put a new hydrant on it. So that'll be down the road. But for now, it's shut off. It's not leaking. We did. I just got done doing my every 3 years. We have to do the lead and copper where I go around and pass out little milk jugs to people. There's 10 different places I gotta take them to, and I did that. I got them all back and sent to the lab, but I haven't got the results yet. I did the yearly nitrate and nitrites and both. We cleaned up the well house too. We've got it pretty much ready to go. Chris McBride is supposed to be there, expected any day. He's kind of been hung up on a job at Swanson Lodge. So as soon as he's done with that, he's gonna be on ours for the well house project. And I talked to Gene today, because part of that was getting a soft start for the well. Because when it comes on, I mean, it was really hammer, so we're gonna get a soft start. For the sewer, a couple weeks ago, we had pump 1 was in a fault condition. We had to pull it up and we found a piece of t-shirt wadded up in it. So, believe it or not, that's not the most incredible thing I found in a sewer pump, but it happens. Got that pulled out, got that back online. we did our 1,500 hour service on the blowers. We had some UV bulbs, a couple of UV lamps that failed, and we were down to our last couple, so I ordered another box, and they're like, it's like $2,000 for a box to go, so they're pretty special. Laced with gold.
Keep that water clean.
Yeah.
Keeps the water clean going out.
Yeah, it's required, so we have to do it. And there was a lady, over here, she kept kind of getting us, calling us and, kind of chewing us a little bit about she was having trouble with her line backing up. I mean, we inspected, tried to help her out as much as we could, but she called a guy out of Libby who he brought like a rotary and pulled it. She's got a big spruce tree in her yard. And the roots had gotten into the line. I mean, it was on her service lane, it wasn't ours. So that was kind of a battle. I talked with RPA. That was the other thing I talked to you about today. They're gonna try and hook us up with the guy that's gonna take a look at our controls and kind of get a quote, because he was asking about the SCADA system that we got to do. It's like the alert system. If something goes wrong, it'll call us out. Because this Headworks building that they're building, the plastic separator.
The Grizzly?
Yeah, the Grizzly. Yeah. So we're in that. If something fails or if there's something gets stuck, or he's like, "How do you want me to call out?" And I said, "Well, interestingly enough, I'd love to update some of the other stuff we got too, because the lift stations that we have, they're all on a phone line. Well, if something went wrong, we can call dispatch. Well, dispatch doesn't exist anymore. So I said, we gotta figure something out there. And then there's a couple other, like the well controls and stuff. It was all kind of outdated stuff when it was installed. So anyway, he's gonna send a guy, we're gonna kind of take a look at that. So that might be down the road. As far as the streets, we had a few potholes we did. We built a water tank up. So sitting out back, we had this great big, it's like a 500 or 600 gallon metal tank. And it had always just been sitting there doing nothing. Well, we turned it into, we put skids on it and put a pump on it and made a spray bar. So we set it in the back of our dump truck and we have a water truck. So a little bit of creativity, a couple $100, we had it done. And it worked really well. We used it down here on Yak when we were doing the dirt work. Let's see, I'm sure you guys saw the county guys, they did a great job. They chip sealed all over. We just kind of helped them with a little bit of flagging. They did, it looks great. I think they did a count too. That turned out really well. We got, so from 2nd Street to the end there, where I was talking about the hydrant that split, we've got that all prepped, and we're actually going to pave that section. So when you're coming down Bar Street and you get up to 2nd Street where it kind of narrows up real bad, that's just going to be a straight shot instead of having to drive over here, stay in the lead. And we're going to go all the way down.
So the end of Yak this time, like we were talking about, all the way out.
So but that's, we're ready on that. And as soon as EJ gets his favorite, he said he'd be with us for that. And then the 2 patches on Riverside that we did. One was where we had to dig up the main, and the other one, it was just a soft spot that we threw all kinds of pothole patch and stuff in there, and it would just sink. So we dug it out and actually put some good firm base in there and in. So we're looking at those. The parks, we had a lot of sprinklers that were kind of giving up and putting on, so we replaced a lot of sprinklers. The grass is actually starting to get green again after we had all those events, and every time we had one, it would shut the water out. And it was right when it was 110 degrees, so the grass got fried, but it's coming back now. We put another coat of varnish on the deck at the yurt. We had to go down there the other day with somebody. They were pretty good sized eggshells. I'm assuming somebody found a duck or a goose nest along the riverbank, and so they took the eggs and splattered them on the dirt for us. So
The guy that stayed there said he found an egg.
Yeah. Oh, was there an egg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Said there was an egg.
I thought maybe they found a nest or something.
I thought it was like a pretty big egg.
but anyway, so we had that thing in mess, we washed that down. Cause it was actually, there was a guy renting it that week, he was the one, that he went down there just to kind of check it out. And he stopped in City Hall and was like, you know, that thing's a mess in there, so, he was the one that told us about it. So anyway, we got that cleaned up, and, we put new codes in the door, cause that thing's just been getting rented enough that kind of as people use the codes, we kind of cross them off the list, so that way they can't come back, and we went through and redid a whole bunch of codes, so that's a good thing, people are renting and using it a lot. We prepared the soccer field for the soccer people, they like to cut really short, because it makes the ball a little faster, farther. But that kind of made it our mower kid the other day, I told him, if you go out there and just cut it a little bit, you know, if you gotta make 2 or 3 passes, well, he went out there and slammed the deck down and we hate you. We got it cleaned up, I think you're happy they came to the lines and stuff. So I guess soccer started now. So the people from the Firestone, that the floor coating, I called and she set up a time, September 30th and October 1st is when they'll be here to do the bathrooms and the showers behind. So we gotta take the stalls out, take the toilets out. So right around there, those bathrooms should come for the video too. And all they can do that thing when it cures and then it's done.
So they only do it in a museum bathroom?
The museum bathrooms and the 2 showers behind. Yeah, for now, eventually, we're gonna try and budget even us in here at the park too, so hopefully.
You said September 30th?
Yeah, September 30th and October 1st. So they'll be shut down for about a week or 2. Up at the cemetery, we did, Dallas has been making us some tiles. Actually, I gotta give the guy kudos, he's been working the butt off up there. He cut a bunch of brush and a bunch of rake and cleaned up branches, he's been pressure washing headstones, so I mean, I gotta give it to him, he's working the butt off. And it's, so we kind of went up there and helped him with some of that. We weed whacked and cleaned up around some of the headstones that were out in the new part. We did a grave the other day for Ray Knight. He passed away. The monument people came up. I had to meet them the other day and find out the graves that it was people that had passed away years ago, but they were just now putting the headstones out. So that was kind of interesting. Me sure if I'm looking up old records and trying to find where. And then bee control, I put that just because Dallas would get stung and he didn't like it. He had to find a couple nests and kill them. General fund stuff. There was a picnic table at the boat launch, that one that you said was missing bolted broken. We had to fix it. The air conditioning unit on the roof up here for the cops, it keeps freezing up. It's the first time we've had that much trouble with it. This last time we went up there and tinkered with it, and Travis said, no, it's been doing okay for a while. But he said, just like today I asked him, and he said, yeah, it's going to start to slow down again. So, it's like the radiator and there's just icing up. And we looked up online and kind of a troubleshooting guide for that. It said that it might just be low on refrigerant or whatever. So we got to find, the service, can go up there and take a look at it.
How old is that?
It was installed in 98, I believe it said on the door.
Is it the old refrigerant?
Yeah, it said that probably.
Ask McBride, because he has all the gauges.
Yeah. No. And then there was we had a urinal to fix in the fire hall. I had to talk to DJ. Apparently this back door it's kind of getting rotten and falling apart.
Yeah.
I gotta see if in his budget if we can afford to get a new door or if I need to
Should be under this building. Well, we'll know here in a couple months or a month.
because if not
Just a minute. We'll just
I can get on the marketplace, probably find it for $50 and I mean, we can make it work.
We have a building maintenance line, but it's not very big. It's very minute.
Yeah.
It's like $500 or $600.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I thought
I
it's
gotta-
all
I
about
gotta-
building maintenance.
I'll find out what he wants to do for you, cause we took a look, is the civil and everything, just getting graded out. We're really close. Thank you.
Is it something that the city should pay half of? I know when we did the roof, we paid half of it.
It's kind of,
I think it's on the city side though, isn't it?
If it's on the city side, then it'd be up to the city there.
I don't know how the whole 50-50 thing is just.
I know. But there is a separation and stuff.
Yes, yes.
And I think it came up, we paid for half, you guys paid for half.
Yeah.
And definitely there's a way of helping each other.
Yeah.
yeah. So we changed the oil on both of our trucks we recently did, rebuilding the apartments, that took a while. We had the one apartment, we just had to redo the linoleum in the bathroom and the kitchen. It was like somebody spilled hot grease and melted the linoleum in the bathroom. It was just devastating as the whole. The other one, we actually had to rip up the floor and replace it because it started to rot, like the toilet was leaking. So we actually had to rip up the floor and subfloor, kind of do some reconstruction, so it took a week or so there. Up there, they're both, was that a gal right?
Yes.
Okay, so they are kind of getting filled up again, so we're getting some renters in there now, but yeah, and one of the fridges gave up, we had to buy a new fridge.
The window was in digital.
Oh, okay, yeah, Jesse said it was in the, okay, we get it in that too. And we gotta replace the window. Let's see. Travis was, I don't know if you guys saw it today, we're out here working on the culverts on 3rd Street. We're gonna build some concrete caps at the end to kind of, so like this one kind of washed out, we're gonna prevent that. But Travis was kind enough to we brought in he's got like a little cement mixer, batch mixer. He's gonna let us use it, so we don't have to rent one or change. Travis is a good guy.
He's the new doopy.
But we're kind of working, we needed a little tinkering, we got that done today, got it run, so tomorrow we'll be out there doing them all. And then the other thing, I guess, the last thing, this one bench that was right in here in the lobby and dispatch, I guess the last meeting they had, people were saying that they found a complaint box or something. So we took that one bench and we lifted it up and made a table and we're gonna attach that box to it. So people can, we can pack it away, but then at least people can go in the lobby, grab a complaint form, drop in the box and possibly get it every day, so they can kind of keep up and make moves. So we slapped a lap coat of varnish on it today, so tomorrow we should be driving and sticking and then they'll be able to go.
You should add a kudos box.
What's that?
You should add a kudos box.
A kudos box?
That's on front desk.
Ward, DJ says it doesn't matter about a new or used door as long as it works. That's all we care about. So if you can find one that's, yeah, if you can get a used one, that's fine. But yeah, yeah,
I'll put them over.
and not beat up instead.
Public comments on matters not on the agenda.
So I was at a county commissioners meeting, and Letcher said that since our population is so low now, that we are not considered a city anymore, that we are a town.
Is correct. Is correct job is just that it is.
My population.
That do anything for us? As being able to operate as a city though? No. Okay, cause he was kind of making it sound like, well, they're not even a city any longer.
Like we're not a municipality.
Yes, like we're saying we're a city, but we're not a city, like, well, Troy's not even a city anymore. Yeah.
That's why I was at that meeting. I was just wondering what that was about.
So when I went to the municipality meetings over in Helena, that it was brought up about cities that aren't losing population in towns. They never said we had to change back to a town from a city. We're a city.
Yeah, we still classify
Yeah, we're
ourselves
still-
as a city.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eureka's technically a city now. if you really wanna poke at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't need to hear that from Sticky.
What are we, what is population?
Something 780 or
Since it's just around 900.
I think.
So it
it's
really hasn't
less-
changed much in
less-
20 years.
It's less than the last time that it was.
I think it's gone up since then, since the last, since.
So, there's only been 85 new houses built inside the city.
Inside the city limits.
Inside city. limits.
space for the houses.
In fact, when the city was 900 and some odd people, we had a lot more children.
Yeah.
And now we're a whole different class of people. I mean, it's more retired. Nothing against it, but they're
No.
definitely not the families that live in.
You just need to move the city out farther so you can collect all of it.
Yeah, you know what people say about that? We'd have a bigger fight.
There's 18 kids in this year's camp.
Out here in the graduating class this year.
So is that good number or not?
It's teaching.
It's maxed out.
They had to turn
It's
it
not like it was in the 90s.
Oh, really?
Nicole said she
Up to 20. No.
I went into my first classroom, they had like 15 kids in it. There are 3 compared English.
So has it always been that way?
It's a team.
But I mean, are they limited at 20 is what I'm
Oh, man, 2 classes.
Teach, oh, teach,
Yeah.
Well, our enrollment lately has been going up. We've got, I think, 9 or 10 kids at the high school, junior high school, some in the elementary. So it fluctuates, but we're holding pretty steady. I think we're above that limit.
I think since my kids are in 7th, and since they started school in Troy, their classes have gone up by about 10 kids each class.
It seems like there's more kids, you
They're
know.
coming around.
Yeah. That's good.
Hopefully we get some jobs around here and bring some more families in to help that out.
That's
I
the
think
big
how-
thing. Our biggest export is our kids.
Yeah. Yep, raise them here, raise them upright, they leave.
Nice big mill would be good again.
Yeah. Or mine.
Or mine. Yes, exactly.
Definitely, the forestry system, all that used to be here is awesome.
And there's still plenty of wood to cut.
The logging,
As long as it's maintained the right way. You know?
it's gotta be done like that.
Yeah.
Work with, right, with the different groups of people that are around to make it work.
Yeah.
Instead of a big fight. Make the logging and mining go away, went away.
And mining can be a big thing. You know?
I have a question.
Yep,
What time does the park close?
10 o'clock on the weekdays and midnight on the weekends. And I just actually was looking up the ordinance on that, and it is still an ordinance for kids to be off the streets at 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. And on the weekends, it's from midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Is there any way you can get a sign in the park that says that?
I think there is a throat punch.
Is there one on what's,
One
but
that says 10 o'clock.
Oh, well, man.
Yeah, it's on its own words. We can make.
Yeah,
Is
it
there a
needs.
chain that goes
it
across
needs
the
to be
main
posted
entrance?
for people to read it.
not
might
by
be
the road.
Yeah.
I don't know of a chain that goes across there. It's just going into the park there.
Oh, into the trail.
Yeah.
Cause we had kids that come down, like this one kid when I was scolding him, he was out there like, it was about 12:30 in the morning. And he says, well, with an adult. And I said, well, the park is closed. It's hard for me to tell him the park is closed when there's not a sign that says that.
Okay, let's look on, get a sign down there.
Is park closed, is that currently?
It's park closed. That's the part of curfew and everything was. So the curfew was here before.
Right. No,
But
that's why.
We can do that.
Does the sirens go off at 10?
No, they don't.
I lived across the street from it for my whole life, so I was like, oh, 10 o'clock, you know, or oh, 12 o'clock, or oh, fire.
My kids, lights start coming on, they come back in home, that fire alarm goes off,
That's
got
it.
very little time to make it to the
Yeah.
front door.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was not
That
a
was a quick
full-blown thing, it was just a little, yeah. Get over it.
Maybe talk to dispatch again and maybe have them.
Good luck. Don't push him. Don't push him over the edge.
Love
Don't push him.
No,
I like talking. I like talking to them guys. They've actually done fairly well with what they've got going on. So, and as long as people when they have an issue, bring it up so it can be changed.
Instead of taking to social media to complain about them.
Exactly. Get more with honey than they do vinegar.
Some issues.
But no, they're more than willing to work with us from what I talk with Aaron and stuff on the dispatch over there. So anything that would help the city of Troy out, definitely let's bring it up and we'll see about getting it taken care of. I know. a couple
What's the
people that
emergency
will-
siren? What's the deal with that?
What?
The emergency siren,
Like an idea.
not the one that for the fire, the other one. Everybody says it used to go off, but nobody,
first Monday at 6 o'clock.
it hasn't gone off in many years.
I don't remember which one you're talking about.
The one right next to the red one.
The national disaster.
So it used to go off every Monday?
Like a-
Monday at 5?
Yeah, it was a test. I mean,
It was 6 o'clock.
I think 6.
6 o'clock. Did you say 10?
Huh?
Did you say 10?
10 o'clock.
No, 6 o'clock. I thought I heard a 10, so I don't.
10 o'clock and back.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing.
So natural disaster first Monday, 6 p.m. for the alarm. Okay.
Harry, way to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna talk about curfew, we can talk about that alarm too.
After volunteers will show up.
Respond. Respond.
Sure.
All right. Do you know where your kids are? I live so close to the siren, more siren is not where I. Don't worry.
You'd be surprised how many of us actually respond off that siren.
And
A lot of us use that.
siren,
Yeah.
sure, but so who do siren? And as it's just going off out and after your two people care.
Sure.
I haven't heard one.
So we don't have a problem.
There you go.
Ah,
So
I mean, you live upon the hill.
I hear it. I hear it. better.
Oh, I hear it too.
No, he means you don't see
Oh,
all.
you don't see all kids out.
That's what.
You know, his point is, if the citations are written, then it's.
I understand that.
We don't have that problem in Toronto. Kids are talking that.
Well, that's not our place. Have a siren going off, like, we'll have to put it out there, that's the curfew.
What about the predator?
Oh, you're gonna do that one again?
Yes.
It won't bother me. Okay, I'm a long way.
Even though there's a few people that you guys live still down there.
Oh, yeah, I've been told, so I'm living in my motor.
And we've heard that they are too.
There's a spot in my motor?
Yeah.
Anybody stand up?
Couldn't go in your house, but we're,
Yeah.
Still doing cemetery now.
why would
Yeah, that's been going on for a while, I mean, I know it's explained like Jamie had a lot of it completed, and then, Sharon's been, had a Lori working on it, so as far as I know, that mapping part of the cemetery is should be gets pretty close to being done. The sign's been put up, so, yeah, the sign's been put up, or had them put up. Do you know anything else that needs to be done up there for the mapping of it?
At the cemetery?
Yeah, just the people marking their plots. Make sure everybody's on a plot.
No,
And not,
I think. It's how many things.
okay, we got other things that we're been discussing now about the cemetery we'll bring up later on, but yeah.
Thanks
As
for
far
talking.
as I know, it's getting all that. I mean, it's easier for Sharon to go down to the office and go, yep, it's right here.
Yeah, that would be awesome to have it all mapped out.
And thanks for talking to the officers about blocking 2 for us. They've been doing a great job. It's helped out a lot. So,
That's that, what I was saying, is come down and talk to us and we can take care of stuff. Well, as long as we get talked to about it, we can definitely talk to any place about it. The office ladies are great help. Sometimes. No. Sure not. Everybody good?
No.
Okay, Sheriff, let's go.
Local government review.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, so citizens of Troy voted in June that we needed to have a local government review. But the deadline for people to register to be on that study commission has come and gone, and we don't have a single candidate.
I thought you had more.
Yeah, no.
No, the person that filed this is not a resident of the city.
So that, yeah, when did
So-
not.
Council is going to have to appoint 3 members.
So we gotta go with the first part of it though, is the options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we didn't have the 3, we have the option as a city to not proceed with the election. Since we don't have any candidates, we can tell the county we don't need the election, so we can save that money. There could still be writing candidates. My guess is no, we probably won't have if they didn't do it by now. So, I mean, if we cancel the election and we, for some reason, end up with more than 3 writing candidates, then we might be in a bit of a pickle. If we cancel the election, we get a few writing candidates, we can just appoint them to the board. That's where we're sitting right now. We need 3 civic-minded people who want to evaluate the current structure of government that we have and the other options that are available to us within the state, and see if they want to recommend a change.
What does this do?
Change the form of government.
So the Montana State Constitution every 10 years makes us put on the ballot the question of whether or not they want to evaluate the government. The last time we did was not 10 years ago, was it 20 years ago? Right. So anyway, the question comes up every 10 years, citizens can vote yes or no. If they vote no, it just dies for another 10 years. But this year, 2/3 of the people who voted for it,
Out of the 220.
222 people who voted, like 130 something, yes. But then none of them came forward.
So that's the thing, is we have not had anybody in the city limits come forward to do it at all.
Yeah. But it's required. We can't not do it just because nobody is stepping up.
So as a city, without nobody volunteering or coming forward to follow
If you want
this, we can opt out of the electing for the election, so that don't cost us.
So,
Within 20 days after the election, though, we have to appoint 3 people.
yep, if you're interested, send us a letter. City Hall would be happy to receive that. So it's a commitment. It's about a year and a half. So the study commission will meet, they'll, do all of their evaluating and such, and then make a recommendation. So.
To change what though? I mean, I don't live in the city.
Form of government. It's different forms of government. There's multiple forms of government.
Yeah, so right now we have a council mayor form of government.
Yeah.
So they could,
You can have a city planner.
there are other options that are available to us, so.
We can't afford a city planner.
No, we can't.
You don't pay us, so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. City planners aren't gonna work for nothing.
So that's the options of that is, opt into not have the election, but we still within 20 days after the election, we'll have to appoint 3 people out of the city to follow through with this.
I know everybody says I live in the city, maybe I should.
I know where you live.
Mm-hmm.
Eureka has opted to actually do, they have not had anybody come forward to be on their commission, so.
That's pretty common, what I'm hearing from other municipalities. A lot of them voted for it and nobody's stepping up, so.
And
She thinks,
Libby's waiting for the write-in, so they're still doing an election.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from what we discussed and looked at, without anybody stepping forward, I think to save the city money, we should just opt out of the election. And then do the 20 days after the election to appoint 3 people out of the city. And at that point, hopefully 3 people volunteer their position to do that. You don't have to go.
Good luck with that, huh?
Can you do an article in the paper? I mean, I'm sure there was an ad, but can you actually do like some sort of article and describe what that would look like and maybe different people.
We'll do that at that time, just after the election there, definitely put it out there again, it was put out there in places this year. Yeah. So, but after we save ourselves a couple,
Yeah.
of this rate, and then we just move forward to that, but put it out there and let everybody know. And you know, anybody that's got some extra time,
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
a year and a half of extra time, and then
Scott.
Scott's pretty busy, thanks.
Scott can't do it.
Yeah.
It's summertime.
We review ourselves. A little bit of a conflict of interest.
Actually, we do need one ex officio member. So it could be a city employee, it could be a council member, they can't vote. Ideally, it's gonna be someone who is familiar with our current structure of government and the others that are available. Someone there just to provide a little guidance.
And that person can be from the county though, too, right?
What's that?
The exil can be from the county though, right?
No.
Most of them, who said no? Because other boards can have people that are part of in their district.
This is
as
part
an
of
exile.
the government. So this is the city's form of government, has nothing to do with county.
I'm not. I don't think that's right. I think because like if a county board, I mean, you better look into that because I think somebody. I'm not saying, I'm just using that as an example. Because even if I lived in the city, I could be on a county. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
And because you're still a resident of Lincoln County.
Yeah.
I'll look at the MCA's again, but I don't remember anything saying that somebody from the county could be on it.
Not the actual voted in.
No, the
member.
exo.
The ex officio,
That's the one I'm
I
talking
need
about.
to look at it. So, since they're not a voting member, I don't know that it would matter. I can ask Dan.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything?
Thank you for keeping us above board, Sharon.
So,
Chief of Police yet?
no, okay,
Chief of Police yet?
okay, no. There's police commission has been put together. Stuff's being filed out, so, but
Who are the candidates or like the applicants for the chief of police?
The police commission.
No, for the chief of police. I was asking who the applicants are. I feel like we should be able to go into that.
I don't know.
I don't know on that one.
Can really get all enough, but
I don't know, I mean, we couldn't have them in here on the interviews we were doing.
I don't know, yeah, I feel like we're talking about individuals.
I'd ask
I'm just gonna refrain from answering that question.
I'd ask Levi and then what's Levi used to go with.
I know once the process is done, you're gonna know.
When is the process going to be done? These folks.
Yeah, Roadman or I will call Levi Thompson.
Yeah, wrong.
Public knowledge on candidates.
his name
Is that Levi
So
Thompson?
if
Your attorney Levi Thompson.
He said.
Cause when I hit Levi, I come up with Levi Thompson.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
If for some reason we find out that he could answer that, I'll let you know. Okay. Or we'll have something. Probably. Okay, so anything else? Okay, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
I'll second. How many seconds? All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to show that?
Oh.